Hello, Hannah. Soul Dr. Nick here, and I want to dive deeper into this book review, Common Sense Child Rearing by Dr. Thomas Cowan. And I've read quite a few of his books: Cosmic Heart, Human Heart, Childhood Vaccinations. I can't remember what else. And I've listened to his stuff, and I really appreciate the way he looks at things. Rudolf Steiner, Waldorf Schools, Western Price. And reading this book, both was easy for me, but I can recognize that for almost everyone else in my life who hasn't been exposed to so many of these ideas, it'll be super challenging, because the way he dives into it right away, that, being on your child's side makes sense. Wanting the best for children, wanting them to be living in integrity, resilience, all that sounds great. But the way we're doing it right now is almost creating the exact opposite. And how do we know? Look at the rates of childhood cancer, obesity, depression, loneliness, how many people feel disillusioned, suicidality. And yet we keep promoting the same things. More and more 5G networks, more and more schooling, more and more vaccinations, more and more medications, more and more interventions. And I'm recognizing it's taken a lot to get to this point, especially since given that my son went through major interventions. Growing up, he's been the birth of a C-section. We didn't plan on it, but that's the way it came. Been intubated, ventilated, all those things. But since then, we've done as good a job as we can minimizing things, allowing for fevers, allowing for growth, allowing for development, allowing for falls, allowing him to run, allowing ourselves to try something different, to contemplate how might we want to live life, unschooling, eating differently, stepping away from the Western pharmaceutical medications, seeing how that might be. And he lays it out step by step in this book. If anything, this book is a little light on details, but bigger on concepts, which I really appreciate, because so many books dive into so much depth that it takes a lot to read. I decided to pick this book up this morning and have just finished reading it. And I'm so grateful for that, because I can see, if someone wants to see what my overall general consensus philosophy on raising my son and children in general, and taking a look at a basis or a starting point for discussion, I would say read this book. And it's going to be challenging, but I would rather you be challenged starting off than to have to start laying down some of the foundations. And from this place, it's almost like a whole different school of unlearning can appear. I think sometimes we get caught in the traps of, or I get caught in the traps of, discussing the minutia versus what's the overall picture. And if you get so turned off and start reading this book that you don't want to talk anymore, most likely it's better that we don't actually discuss things. Let's just agree to disagree. I don't need the whole world to agree with me. I'm definitely not right. I don't think he's right either. He's willing to speak his truth, which I can see from decades of learning, and it is aligning with some of the truths that I have been witnessing, both in my own life, in my own readings, in my own experiences, and in the being with my son, who I imagine to have come in with so much wisdom. He's here to teach me. He's come in with a clear purpose and direction. My role is to keep him safe enough and to get out of his way to play, and to remind him that he's got it. Over and over, he tried to engage me with play, and most of the time, especially when there are other kids, I remind him, you got this. Play. Enjoy. And how can I stop intervening even when he's doing things that I may not fully agree with, like snacking underneath the playhouse with other kids and eating their snacks that may be more sugary and other things. I'm like, but he's trying out different things, letting him explore, and in that exploration finding something different. And then he loves helping me juice. He loves helping to bake, to cook. He's not a big fan of cleaning, but that's okay. So the things around the house that he starts just to enjoy doing, and then he just keeps wanting play dates. And I get it. He wants to play with other kids his age, other kids who want to play with him, other kids who have this kind of imaginative place in this kind of setting. And he loves it with some of our dear friends, where they get to cook, where they get to have free discoveries, discussions, being out in the land, taking off his shoes, guiding me to do that, catching crabs. Yeah, so this book, Common Sense Child Rearing, super accessible, super easy to read. Know that if it's challenging for you, that's okay. Know that it's not about agreement, but what if there's a possibility that some of the things and systems and structures we're creating that we think are just so good may not actually be doing the good that we think they are, and what possibilities might be out there. And so I invite you to expand your mind, to go to this school of unlearning and to read this book, and I look forward to hearing from you. Ciao for now.